Hello, welcome back to the science class. Today we are going to be taking part 3 of our lesson. We started all the way from part 1, part 2, and I want to believe that you are getting a good understanding of what we are talking about. Still in lesson 1 of module 1 in unit 2, moving continents, we will go straight ahead to our objective for today's lesson. Our objective today says to explain the matching coastlines of South America and Africa. We want to explain the matching coastlines that we have between the South America continent and the Africa continent. From the previous lesson, the one we had before now in part 2 of our science lesson, we talked about the evidences that support the continental drift hypothesis. We talked about the different evidences that scientists have put together to talk about to support the fact that the Earth is constantly moving. That's the continental drift hypothesis. Now there we talked about the continents. We are all one supercontinent called Pangaea. And this Pangaea fragmented and pieces drifted to the current location of the continent. We saw this in the 2 lessons, the part 1 and the part 2. If you don't understand this, please just take like a few minutes to go back to the previous lessons for you to get a good understanding of what we are talking about. Now, in the last lesson, we talked about 4 to 5 evidences that support that. The identical type of forces found in Africa and South America. We are going to look at that. We saw that in one of the slides. We saw that there is identical fossils found between the different continents over the Earth. We've seen this slide before in the previous lesson where I explained about the fossils that are buried beneath the surface of the Earth across the continents when they were all combined together. So we are going to look like what our objective is telling us today. We want to explain the matching coastlines. We want to explain how the coastlines, the boundaries of the South America and the Africa can fit properly, just like the way you can fit a part of the puzzle into it from where you removed it, from what we explained in the last lesson. So quickly we go to that and some other evidences that we have concerning the South America and the Africa continent. Now we are going to go straight to the lesson. Now you see it here. This is the South America plate. This is the Africa plate. When they were all combined together before, you can see it here, South America, Africa. They were all fit together before the whole thing started to move and the drifting, the slowly moving away starts to happen. Now, let's come over here. How can we explain that? How can we prove that? If we look at the globe today, how can we prove that actually, see it here, this is how it is now. The South America is a bit far and we have the Atlantic Ocean in between them, the South America and the Africa. Now, how do we prove that these two were fit together before? Or how do we prove that these and these were together before when it was a supercontinent? We have some evidences, we have some things to prove to us. Now, if you look here in this slide I have here, you will see the ancient rocks. The rocks we find around the edges of the South America from this side and the rocks we find from the edges of Africa from this side are very similar. These are the things that scientists proved in the last lesson, the video we watched. The video was telling us about how the scientists have tested each of these rocks and they have seen that there is very good similarity between them. So this is how we can explain it. Now if you look at it here, it says sedimentary rocks containing fossils. So we have this part and this part were fit together before. After they have drifted apart, this South America plate still retains its own whatever it has, the rocks and everything, and Africa retains its own. So when we test them, when we check from these edges and these edges, we see lots of similarities in the type of fossils, in the type of the rocks, and the type of the things that are formed along these places. This tells us that probably they were previously combined together in this way. So this is the present. This is about 200 millions of years ago. So this is the present. This is about millions of years ago. So keep that in your mind. So this is how we can explain it. if you go to the book, let's go to the book, science book, in page number 6. Now in page number 6 and page number 7, you will see, why do South America and Africa have matching coastlines? This is the question we have there, and this is what I've explained in the slide, that if you look at them, you will see scientists have proved that the rocks that we have along this edge and the rocks we have in this edge have very, very high level of similarities. So this is what, and we can see also the shape, the fitting. When we take, if we are to fit it, if there is any possibility of fitting them, you will see that actually the edges of this South America from this side can fit into the edges of African continent from this side. So the fitting capacity and the similarities of the rocks formation there, these are the reason why we say that they could fit together like pieces of a giant jigsaw puzzle. Now, this explains to us that actually there was a supercontinent previously before. Let's quickly look at this video. This is from the online resource. You are watching a video from the online resource. If you have your password and your username, you can check it out by yourself. Let's see. It's just showing us the globe, the Earth as a globe moving, and now you see this is the South America plate. You can see when they were, now it starts to slide, you see, and it moved away from the Africa. Before they were combined together in Pangaea, so after millions of years, it slid away. So this is what we have here. Quickly, let's go to the next page. Now we are going to the next page, page number 8, because in page number 6 and 7, we should have an activity like I said before, but we are not going to do it. So in page number 8, we have a claim. We want to make a claim. It says, when you put together your partner's puzzle, we don't have the puzzle, so we didn't do that. So let's go quickly to the claim. In page number 8, it says, South America and Africa have similar coastlines because, remember our objective, this is what the claim is asking us to do. The claim is asking us to really take a good look at our objective, which says to explain the matching coastlines of South America and Africa. So right here from the claim, I want you to take like few minutes, few seconds, like let's say 40 seconds again I will give to you for you to think. Can you try to give a reason for this claim? Can you try to make a claim for this from what I've explained? From what you've seen, why do you think that South America and Africa have similar? What can you explain, or what claim can you lay to support the fact that South America and Africa have similar coastlines? What is the reason? So just maybe now I'll just give like 15 seconds, not more than 15 seconds. Try to think. Can you say anything? Can you remember anything? Can you reason anything for that? Why South America and Africa have similar coastlines? Okay, I believe that maybe you are already thinking, you're trying to figure out what should be your answer. Now let's go quickly. Remember what I showed you here? We can see they have similar coastlines because they were once fit together. So we can say from the claim in page 8, South America and Africa have similar coastlines because the continents were once combined. Yeah, when they were once combined as a supercontinent in Pangaea, this is why, as they are drifting apart, they still retain the different coastlines, the coastlines, the boundaries that each of them have. So this is the reason South America and Africa have similar coastlines. The reason is because the continents were once combined. You can put it in your own way, as we always do. Try to make your own sentence if you can. Now quickly we go to the next page. So here we are in page 9. Hundreds of years ago, map makers noticed a jigsaw puzzle pattern as they made the first maps of the continents. Can you see the puzzle? We are talking about why do some continents have matching shapes. We've looked at South America and Africa. Now look at the outlines of South America and Africa. The green color represents, you have the book with you in page, now I'm talking from page number 10. In page number 10, yeah. So look at the book you have in page number 10. Let's try to find out what and what is there. You are going to look at it very well and try to see if you can find your reason. The images are not showing. It's taking a long time, so we just proceed. Let's go ahead. Let's go quickly to the questions to see the questions we have in page 10. It's taking time to load, so I'm going to read it. It says you should look at them and label the continental shapes on the image below. Now, question number 2. What do you notice about the shapes of the continents, including the continental shelves? What do you think the apparent fit of the continent suggests? Now, this is question number 2 in page number 10. Can you figure out what it is? What do you think the fitting of these two continents, what does it suggest to us? It still goes to the same thing we've been talking about. It suggests to us that the eastern coast of South America and the western coast of Africa appear to fit together, which suggests they were once joined in the past. So it suggests to us that they were once joined in the past. This is the suggestion is given to us, that they were once joined in the past. So as we try to summarize the lesson now, first of all, you have to remember to write this in page 8. The blue underlined one is the answer for the claim in page 8. Now you go to page 10, you have to write all of this in question number 2. In question number 1, you are supposed to just look at the image and match what you think is similar. The coastlines, the edges of the Africa and the edges of the western coast of the Africa and the eastern coast of the South America. You can see the blue color that shows they were fit together before. So that brings us to the end of the lesson, and the plenary, it's here. So the first plenary is saying, explain why some continents have matching coastlines. You should know why. We've taken an example of South America and Africa. We see that they have matching coastlines before they were combined together, even though now they've drifted apart. But the capacity of fitting together, which is seen in the coastlines, are still there. Not only the two of them, so many other of them. If you look at the Earth today, you can see that these, for example, the Asia and the Africa, they can still fit together, even though it's drifted a little bit. You can also see from here that these can come and fit into this, the North American and the South America. So these are the things we are seeing. When we talk about the matching coastlines, we used Africa and South America as the main example for today's lesson, and we have explained it. We have explained it that the reason why they have matching coastline is because they were previously combined together. They have matching coastline because the continents were once combined together, and also we see that this matching coastline supports and suggests to us that they were once joined in the past. So this is our lesson today. I hope you've understood. You can explain it. If someone should ask you, why do South America and Africa have matching coastlines? The reason is because they were all one together as one in the supercontinent. Thank you so much, and see you in the next lesson.